Hello and welcome back to GBoss Gaming. Thank you for joining me today. If you watched the last video and you're back, welcome back. If not, and this is your first video, we're currently doing a series on city skylines. And why we are doing this is because at my school, in our SOS or Humanities or HAS, whatever you might call it at your school, we do a challenge towards the end of the year called the City Skylines Challenge, which links to the Australian curriculum, which I'll put in the description. The idea is to be able to design and have a functional city, and whichever group is able to have the most citizens and making the most profit with their city will be the winner. So we did a video earlier about using the most of waterfront properties and building a city along the river. The other video is on my channel if you want to watch. This video, we will be looking at building a city more rurally, more inland, and with a little bit of different availabilities. So last video we started from scratch. We started with nothing unlocked really. This video will be starting with everything unlocked and a little bit more money depending on what you may have for your challenge or what your teacher gives you. So we're going to start with we'll start with Green Plains again. We'll put left-hand traffic on, and let's start. I'll also put the mods that I use while I play City Skylines in the description, so if you want to have the same mods that I use on Steam, you can have the same ones, so you're using the same thing as I am. That is also why the loading screen often takes a long time, because there's a lot to have to load from my computer from a lot of mods. I'll also be going over how to use some of the tools in the game a bit more, as last time I don't think I did that very well. So here's my new city. I'll go over to where we start. So down the bottom here are all the different things that I can build or use. So starting from the left, we have roads. We have single lane roads, which are good for putting houses on and low demand for not many cars. Medium roads for our collector roads, which I'll talk about road hierarchy later. We have large roads, which are 6 lane. Highways, which are a bit faster again. We have our intersections tool and tolls, which we will not be using today. We also have our zoning. So we've got low density, so houses, high density apartments, low density shops or commercial, high density shops, factories or industries, offices, and remove zoning. So when you zone on the side of a road, nothing will happen until there is a need for that building to be built, and then the game will start building houses. We have electricity and different ways to produce electricity. We have water. We need water intake as well as water outtake. We need garbage disposal. We need healthcare, death care, elder care, child care. We need fire brigade. We need police. We need education. We've got primary school or elementary school, high school, university, and public libraries. We've got our public transport options. We've got parks and plazas, unique buildings, which are just fancy parks and plazas, monuments, which are really fancy unique buildings. We have our landscaping, which we probably won't do much of today. Our economy section, so we can tax people. Let's straight away raise this up to 12%, because people are quite happy to be taxed 12% and not move out of our city. If we start doing it too much more, people will get unhappy and they'll leave, which we do not want in our city. We want it to be growing and expanding. And then the other tools we're not really going to use for today. So first thing I'm going to do is start my roads. Now I have a lot more money this time than I did in my last video, so I'm going to make the most of that and build a large roundabout. Because roundabouts are very efficient ways of getting large groups of cars through. So I've built my roundabout. I now need to connect it to the highway. So the best way to do that is I'm going to bulldoze this road and hope that that doesn't mess up my roads. We're going to get our highway. I'm going to stick with the same width highway that we've already got. Now over here we have some extra tools for our roads. We've got straight roads, so you can draw a straight line. Curved roads, so you can draw a very specific curved road. So if I want to bring it out 10 units and across 10 units, it's going to be perfectly curved on an even angle. But for the roundabout, I'm going to use freeform, which is a cross between straight and curved. So I'm going to start my road here, drag it reasonably straight, because I want it to curve along nicely onto our road. So that means that they can go at a high speed onto the roundabout and continue at a high speed to where they need to go. I'm going to do the same with the other side. Perfect. And then I need to change the direction of the road, because otherwise we're going to have a conflict here. I'm going to click on this upgrade road button and just right click to change the road direction, and then problem is solved. We've got a nice roundabout into our city. So I said I would talk about road hierarchy, so here we go. So you have your highways, which are your high speed roadways, which I'm sure you know, and that's what we want to be able to transport most of our trucks and cars and buses and everything along, because that's going to be the fastest way to get around. We then have arterial roads. What arterial roads are is they are the next largest group of roads, which are also designed to produce or move large amounts of people along it, but not quite as fast as a highway would be. So I'm going to extend, using the straight road tool, I'm going to extend my block out quite a long way. In fact, let's just go even further. Let's go way out to here. So we've got a lot of space to build on because we've got a lot more money than last time. I'm then going to go down to a 4-lane road. These are called collector roads, which are the next smallest amount of roads down. What we want to do is I'm going to have to measure myself out here. 10, 20, 30. I'm going to measure 40 out, because I don't want, if it does get busy, I don't want traffic to be banked up back here, slowing down my roundabout. So we're going to come out here, and I'm going to draw a road. We'll go 30 units up here. Cool, so there's my collector road. Then going to build some local roads, which are much smaller. I'm going to put some trees on it too, make it look nicer. So local roads are what you're going to have mostly your housing on, your low density housing, or your normal houses where you might live on a street. What we're going to do is I'm going to start with a grid. Grids are a very efficient way of getting lots of housing in very quickly, closely together, and efficiently. So because my 6-lane road and 4-lane road are a little bit wider than the 2-lane road, I'm going to go 11 units up here so I can get maximum density in. So I made a mess of that. Then we're going to go across, we'll go 30 units. We'll go up 10 now, because we don't need to go 11 again because these roads are smaller. And we've got a nice little block of housing in there. Well, it will be for housing. We're going to go the other way. We'll go, what did we do last time? 30 was it? Yep. We'll go 30 this way again. Perfect. Now I might want to make these a little bit smaller blocks, do I? Yep, so I'll go across 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Smaller block. Perfect. I'm now going to zone some houses. Now, this bar down the bottom is very green. It says there's a very high demand for residential zone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zone houses in my blocks. There's some different ways I can do it. There's a fill button, so I can just click on a block and it fills it in. There is a marquee button where I just click and drag around the area that I want houses. Or there's a brush tool where I can, maybe not the small one, where I can just drag over like this and paint where I want my housing to be. I don't like using that. I'm not very efficient with it. Much more efficient with this one here, because I don't want houses too close to a main street. Now, a lot of small country towns that you'll see, or rural towns, they often have one main street where all their shops are, and then the houses tend to move off of that. So I'm going to make this very similar. So I'm going to have a main street which I'm going to zone my shops on, just like that. And then as my city grows, I'm going to expand away from the shops on the main street. Before people can start moving into my city as I continue to zone some housing, I will need to have water and power to all the houses, or otherwise people are not going to be very happy with me and they're not going to want to move into my town. So first thing is I'm going to do water first, I think. Now we need to have water in. It's two different ways we can get water in. The one is a water pumping station where we can get it straight out of the river. The other way is a water tower, which we don't need to get out of a river, but it creates a lot more noise around a population, and if we have it near a factory or industrial area and the ground gets polluted, the water then gets polluted, which means sick people, which means people die. We don't want that. I'm going to go with a water pumping station over here. Also, it makes noise, but it has to be on a river, so it's going to be away from the people. I'm then going to connect a pipe from that station over to my main road. And then I'm going to put my pipes under my road. If you've seen my last video, you would know why. Because if you have to get water fixed at your house, and it's under the main pipes for the whole town are under your house, they're going to have to dig up your whole house, and nobody wants that. Cool, so we've got water under our grid. We need water out. Now, these arrows along the river tell me the flow of my water. Now, common sense would tell us we do not want our water to come out upstream from the water coming in, because otherwise the sewage water will be going out of this pipe and straight back into the pipe that we will be getting drinking water from. So I'm going to put it way down here, out of the way, so it doesn't bother anyone. And then I'm going to connect those two together. Perfect. We now have a water system. Second thing we need to do is get power. Now, I don't want to put my big power plants near houses, because even if it is renewable energy, it's going to be quite noisy. Or if it's not renewable energy, it's going to be quite dirty and people will get sick. So I'm going to put it over in this space over here. To do that, I'm going to have to buy more land. So I can go down to the bottom left to this place called Areas, click on that tile, and I've now bought it, so I can now build on this area. You may be wondering, why is this a different color? That's a great question. Up in the top left here, we have info views of our city, where we can find out information about how our city is doing. So we can see how much electricity we have available. At the moment, none, because I haven't built it. How much water? Also none, because it's not connected to electricity, so it won't be working. And then various other things which I will be covering as we go. So first thing I want to do is click on natural resources. The reason that area was green is because it's farmland, which says fertile land here, and we've also got forests, which is up there, which we could do our factories if we wanted to be a bit cleaner than just general industrial. At the moment though, I'm not going to worry too much about that. I'm just going to build a large arterial road a few units off here, and then I'll build a collector road coming up this way, and then finally, just like on the other side, some local roads for some high density. Cool. Now I'm going to, I've got the money, so I'm going to put a solar plant in, because I'm a fan of renewable energy, the idea of it. So I'm going to put it over here in our industrial area, just there, so it's accessible to everyone. And now I have electricity produced in my city. So because of that, I'm going to press the play button on my game and wait for some people to start moving in. because I will need to connect power lines to get electricity from my solar plant across into the town. Oh, before I do that, I forgot. I need to get water to the power plant because people obviously are going to be working here and they will need water just like everyone else at work to go to the toilet or to have a drink, whatever they may need to do while they are at work. Cool. So we're producing energy, fantastic. Going to get it over to our houses over here. We will need to get it to our water and our sewage, so let's put this one along here. These blue boxes, if you watched the last video, you will know is the power grid. If someone is connected to that blue, they are connected to power. I just need people to start building over here so I don't have to run ugly power lines through our city. So let's hope that that happens quickly. Let's speed up time and hope that someone starts building over here as soon as possible for me. It doesn't look like they are, which is a little bit frustrating. Alright, there's a shop being built. We might just get there in a minute. Hopefully people don't get too unhappy while we're waiting for the water to get across. They do have power, so the water won't quite start backing up just yet. Yep, and so there's starting to be a problem over here now. Alright, that's going to be an issue, so I'm going to have to draw some ugly power through here. Alright, if I pause my game at the moment and just have a look at how we are doing. We currently have 146 people in our town. I'll get rid of this view. They're living over here. There's a couple of shops that are in there. We can see down the bottom that our industry need is very high at the moment. So what I'm going to need to do is zone some industry over here. Some factories so we can be producing stuff in our town for exports. And for the shops to be able to sell. So those factories have filled up very fast. Let's do the other side now as well. There's clearly a demand for that. Alright, let's give that a bit of time for things to build, people to move into the city. Alright, our need for housing is going up again, but people are not building houses. That's right. We'll just let this go for a little bit. What we need to do now is add more of our essential services into our city. So we need to put, rubbish collection sites in. I've got some mods again which give me access to things like a recycling center, which may not be in your normal game. But I'm going to do that because, again, we want to keep our renewable energy thing going for trash collection, and maybe an incineration site so that we can burn the rubbish as well. People didn't like that over there, but that's okay. Alright, we can see these bubbles popping up over near our houses, which looks like a robber. What that means is that we haven't got any police in our city. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a small police station just here, which is going to be near a main road, but not on the main road. I did explain in my last video why that is important, and it's just for access for the emergency vehicles to be able to get onto a road easier. Alright, back onto my info views over here. I'm going to have a look at traffic quickly, because there's only 190 people in my town, I don't want everyone to be stopping at stoplights constantly. So I'm going to turn off stoplights on all of my towns. I'm going to put a stop coming onto the main road, but otherwise I'm going to leave them all just regular streets, because there's no real need at the moment because there's such a small population in my town. I can see that we need to start putting more houses in, so let's start doing that now. Just going to do blocks of 10, because that is the easiest way to get high density to our city. Ah, that's my problem. I put the wrong road in there. I put a arterial and not a collector. That'll do it. And then I turned all these off. Perfect. Alright, let's zone some more houses in. This is not a very good grid because I didn't look after the terrain very well. It's very important to be able to respect the terrain, which I did not do. Alright, so got some more houses going in over here, meeting that demand that we have. I can fix up my power lines a little bit because at the moment they're very ugly. Excellent. Alright, again we've got some bubbles popping up over here. That's telling us that we don't have enough workers for our factory. There we go, we do now, because people are moving into our city. Our population is expanding. Everything seems okay at the moment. So let's fast forward and just wait until we start seeing some needs pop up on the bubbles. People might even, I don't think it's Twitter, but they will make comments about what the city needs. Alright, since no one is complaining at the moment, we're just going to start doing things ourselves. We will know that we're going to need healthcare because people get sick. It's a thing that happens. So I'm going to put a little doctor's surgery just here, following my same rules as before. Near a main road, not on a main road. Cool. Everyone loves that. Everyone loves having access to a doctor, which is great. Next thing we need as well is a fire department because things catch fire and we don't want that to happen. We're going to do this a little bit different because the most likely cases of something catching on fire is going to be over at our industry area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my fire brigade very close to the industry. That's where it's most likely to be an issue, and it's not as much of an issue here. As we do expand, that'll be the next thing we need to put a second one of in. Finally, we're going to put schools in because it's important to educate citizens. Awesome. Primary school. Because the people moving into the city are going to be uneducated. Sorry, I'm just going to change this sound because it's very noisy. There we are, sorry about that. So the people that are coming into our city will be reasonably uneducated. So there's no point building a high school or a university yet, because the people wouldn't have finished primary school or have graduated it to be able to attend a high school or a university. What I'm going to do is just keep expanding my grid out because, you know, people will want to start moving into our city as it continues to grow. So I'm going to start putting roads in to give us that option for growth as soon as possible. Fantastic. So you can see as I was building that, the need for housing continued to go up. So I'm just going to continue to zone houses along here. Alright, we are currently losing a lot of money a month. That is likely to happen at the start of the game when we have everything unlocked, because things like the power plant are costing us a lot of money. In order to fix that, I can go to our budget over here, and I don't need to be spending as much money as I currently am on power, because I do not have the demand of housing to meet it. I can see that by coming over to my electricity tab, and it being an incredibly long way into the green. I can see I've got a problem over here though, with all the people complaining that they don't have water. So let's fix that straight away. So, I'm going to go back to my electricity tab. I'm still producing way more energy than I need, so I'm going to come down here and just really put this down. So I'm not spending unnecessary amounts of money on electricity that I don't need. And instantly that's fixed our budget somewhat. Alright, let's have a look at what our needs are. Our shops are starting to go up a bit. So I can start putting a few more shops on our main street. Our housing seems to be okay. Now I may have built it too close. Just off. So I don't want to build it too close to this water pumping station because people don't get happy if there's a lot of noise and they don't enjoy, you know, as I imagine you wouldn't as well, living really close to a noisy neighborhood. So going back to our city information over here, let's have a look at everyone's happiness. Yep, most houses are blue. Everyone seems pretty happy. These residents don't. That's not a good thing. We can have a look. So we've got good health coverage. We don't need to worry about that. Our traffic is pretty good at the moment, which is what we want to see. I should actually check how our traffic light issue is. Yep, turn some traffic lights off. We do not need them. Cool. Yep, crime is low. Fire safety is not great. We'll deal with that soon. We're going to look at land values. Our land value at the moment is incredibly low. One way we can easily fix that is, well, first I'm going to zone more housing because there's the need for it. There we are. There's a huge need for it. I'm going to slow this down quickly. I am going to put some higher density apartments in for my residents over here. Not there. I want to put, so we can have some, you know, bigger apartment buildings here, which means that we'll be able to fit more people into a smaller amount of housing. So I'm going to do that and let some apartments build to address that issue. I'm going to have a look at my power quickly because I've got power lines in here unnecessarily. I can even delete all these because our grid is connected over there, which is great to see. We save a little bit of money not having power lines, which you can tell because we're almost making a profit at the moment, which is good to see. What's it doing? Oh yes, parks. We're going to put some parks into our city. This green circle, which you can see, tells me how many people are going to be happy if I put that park in. So if I put it right in the middle of our city, or our housing area over here, everyone will love it because it's, you know, quite close to everyone. If I put something smaller in, it might be a smaller effect. I'm going to put a basketball court in over here because I'm not going to zone any housing this close to a highway. People tend to not appreciate living close to highways because of the noise, which we did talk about earlier. So I've got a basketball court over here. I'm going to put a park over near my river, maybe a dog park over here. Cool. Let's have a look at what that did to our land values. Straight away you can see our land values have just jumped up very quickly. And that's because parks increase land value, which is nice. we've still got quite a high need for housing, which is always a good thing though. Well, these people can live close to a highway. We need high and low value housing, otherwise, everyone can't live in a mansion. As much as we would all like to, we do need to have a nice balance. I'm going to connect this road over here, just as another option to get people, into the suburbs, just as another road, so not everything is going through this one collector route. We can also see that I'm currently making a profit, which is fantastic with 1,000 people in our city. Zone some more high density housing along here. A few more shops along our main street. And everything seems to be going well so far. Making a profit, people are coming into our city, and all of our basic needs are being met. So I'm just having a look at the time, and I am aware that this video has been going for half an hour, so I think I might end it there. We're currently in a pretty good position to expand on. So if you are enjoying this series, I might continue and make it a bit of a let's play series, and do a few different episodes just growing the city and continuing to expand it. And if that's something that you would like to see, leave a like on the video and I'll see what I can do. Especially with being school holidays, I've got a bit more time, and I do enjoy playing City Skylines. So yeah, let me know if you want to see more of this, or if you have other game suggestions you want to see me play, preferably educational ones that I can try and link to a curriculum. Yeah, let me know in the comments and I'll see what I can do. But until next time, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you then.